This is a podcast that I recommend to everyone. And it's a podcast that Joe Rogan podcast with a guy named Harland Williams, who's a comedian I'd never heard of, but he's from Canada. And I've never seen a guy take Rogan to task as much as he did. It's interesting to watch him parry and debate and mess with Rogan. And one of the best parts in it was where he got Rogan to take his shirt off. He baited him into doing it, which is worth the price of admission right there. But in the very beginning, he made a comment to Rogan. He asked how Rogan was doing, and Rogan said, "Oh, I'm worried about nuclear war because of the Iran war." And it occurred to me that that is probably on everyone's mind, that even people that would take the time to listen to something like this, they're sitting there thinking like, "Oh, are we going to get nuked?" And just like Joe. And then this guy Harlan Williams reminds Joe, he goes, "So you're an American, aren't you?" And he goes, "Yeah, I'm an American." And he goes, "Well, you shouldn't be worried if you're an American because you have this fleet of nuclear submarines that are floating around under the ocean with well over 1,000 people, 24/7, constantly going. And if North Korea or Iran or any of these other podunk nuclear countries fire one missile to the U.S., you can just be comforted by the fact that those nuclear submarines are going to fire 20 atomic warheads at whoever it was that fired the missile and completely obliterate them and knock out the threat. So you shouldn't be worried about that. You've got it taken care of." And, and then the guy hilariously starts imitating a submarine under the ground. And so when Rogan started trying to debate him, like, "Well, I'm really worried about, nuclear war and that sort of thing," he goes like, "Joe, just remember this." And he puts his fingers up on the top of his head and he goes, "Boop, boop, 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 boop," imitating sonar. And that may seem completely ridiculous for me to make a reference to that, but in fact, that is exactly what pulsatility is and what human beings are. We are constantly putting out signals on a variety of frequencies, not just in the brain, but the whole pulsatile machinery of your cardiovascular system and everything that's attached to that, your immune system, all of that is pulsating 24/7, putting out signals. And part of what, you know, the essence really of what this is all about is figuring that out and then using it to get control of your health, to lead a healthier life.